Harris, plus the Bears' Abby Elliott, later tonight.
Tonight, we have new disturbing video, shocking video showing the Montgomery County correctional officers interacting with a 19-year-old inmate who had autism before he ultimately died.
Jenny Borkin now to break down what's in these videos. You spoke with an organization that's requesting further investigation. What can you tell us?
Yeah, Adam and Elise, let me explain a little bit about who this organization is. So I spoke with the co-chair of the Montgomery County Jail Coalition, an organization that formed over what should be done with the jail and to find alternatives to incarceration. The organization is now requesting state officials get involved. Joel Prude, the co-chair of the organization, describes his thoughts on the treatment of Isaiah Trammell. We have to warn you, this video is very difficult to watch.
The footage of Isaiah in his cell is enough to keep anybody up at night. It is inhumane. It is cruel. He was treated like an animal, and I believe he was tortured.
New video has surfaced of 19-year-old Isaiah Trammell before his death in March 2023. He was an inmate who was incarcerated at the Montgomery County Jail at the time of his death. Trammell had autism, and in one video you can see him seemingly emotionally distressed as he paces in his cell and hits his head against the wall multiple times. Shortly after, 5 deputies come in his cell, 4 work to restrain him, eventually removing him from that cell. A separate video then shows Trammell pleading as 7 jail employees interact with him. He then asks the deputies to help him, and one jail employee responds to his requests.
Can we please help him get out of here and get into a better spot?
Number one, we have to stop hurting ourselves. You didn't look like that when you were in my office, so you got a new injury here.
Trammell asks for medication multiple times. Not given any, he becomes distressed after an officer removes the blanket covering him. In the video, he was restrained for 13 minutes while he was visibly in distress. Joel Prude says this is an example of why people with mental health issues shouldn't be incarcerated.
And when people die in there, we are reminded why that's so important, that the treatment of people inside that jail, particularly people with disabilities, mental health challenges, addiction, they're treated like animals. It's barbaric, it's dangerous, and it's deadly.
The Montgomery County coroner ruled the cause of death as complications from blunt force trauma, but ruled his death suicide. Now the jail coalition is demanding that the state do its own investigation.
We've been asking since last summer of the sheriff and of the Board of County Commissioners, what have you learned in all these after action reviews, all these investigations? What have you learned? And they said, we have nothing to report. And that's why the Jail Coalition is calling on the state of Ohio, the Department of Rehabilitation and Correction, the Board of Adult Detention, to come to Montgomery County and conduct a thorough investigation, not only of Isaiah's case, but of all 7 deaths.
The 7 deaths Pruce is talking about, are the 7 inmates that all died last year in the Montgomery County Jail. We reached out to the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office and we're told the sheriff cannot comment this week. We also reached out to the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction and didn't hear back. We'll continue to bring you updates on this story as we learn more here on air and on Dayton247now.com. Back to you.
Jenny, thank you. Cleanup efforts now underway after a building collapse in Brookville. The fire chief says the structure was already damaged because of a fire a few years back. He says crews searched the rubble, confirmed no one was inside the building when it fell.
No injuries here, and we've been able to verify with some doorbell cameras and witnesses, etc., that not only was no one seen in or around the building prior to the collapse, no one has been seen in or around the building in a while.
Now, the chief says tonight's storm may have contributed to that collapse.
The man found guilty of causing a deadly school bus crash is now appealing his conviction. 36-year-old Armando Joseph was found guilty last month of vehicular homicide and involuntary manslaughter. Back in August of last year, Joseph ran into a school bus on State Route 41 in Clark County, causing the bus to drive off the road and flip on its side. 11-year-old Aiden Clark was killed. 30 other children were injured. Joseph was sentenced to 9 to 13.5 years in prison.
The man indicted in connection to the officer-involved shooting on US 35 earlier this year will undergo a sanity evaluation. 54-year-old James Skirvin of Florida facing several charges, including felonious assault, domestic violence, discharge of a firearm, and drug possession. Now, back in January, you may remember investigators say Skirvin led police on a chase after he allegedly hit his daughter with his truck. He then crashed into that Trotwood cruiser, which then led to a shootout with officers. Skirvin was later arrested, and results from that evaluation, the sanity evaluation, expected later this month.
We now know the cause of death of the boy who allegedly died at the hands of his legal guardian. The Franklin County Coroner's Office says 5-year-old Darnell Taylor was smothered. He also suffered injuries to his ear, face, neck, lip, and back. Taylor's disappearance sparked a statewide Amber Alert back in February. Taylor's legal guardian, 48-year-old Pammy May, is accused of killing him and then dumping his body before fleeing to Cleveland. May is charged with aggravated murder, tampering with evidence, and abuse of a corpse. She'll be back in court later this month.
An investigation also underway tonight after 2 people were found dead in a vehicle on I-70. Preble County deputies and the Ohio State Highway Patrol sent to I-70 at the Indiana state line yesterday after reports of a vehicle driving in the wrong lane. A few hours later, deputies went back to that area after that same vehicle was found in a ditch. Deputies say the 2 people were found with apparent gunshot wounds. The Preble County Sheriff's Office is investigating what happened as a murder-suicide.
The body found in a damaged home set for demolition is now being investigated as a homicide. It was found in a house on Salem Avenue around 11 o'clock yesterday morning. Dayton police say coroners are now working to learn the cause of death and the identification of the victim. Officials say the house had been destroyed in a fire earlier this year. The woman who police say fell down an apartment complex trash chute yesterday morning has died. Tonight, newly released body camera video shows the rescue efforts at the View at Dayton Towers. Eli Brigette has the latest from investigators.
When crews got there, they discovered the female had fallen from the 7th floor in a trash chute down to the basement level of the apartment. It was actually stuck in the trash compactor there in the basement of the apartment building.
Yesterday morning, 44-year-old Kathy Lee Griffin fell 7 stories through a trash chute in her Dayton Towers apartment complex. As you can see through this newly obtained body cam footage, it was a chaotic scene as it took rescue crews 90 minutes to pull her free from the chute. She was later taken to Miami Valley Hospital in critical condition, but later died from her injuries. Neighbors I spoke to were shocked that this could even happen.
I feel like in order to fall down it, you probably would have had to crawl on it if you wanted to do it on purpose.
Investigators say officers did respond to a mental health call from Griffin on Saturday, but at this time, they do not suspect any foul play when it comes to this case. But there are still many uncertainties when it comes to how this event played out.
I am not sure if she accidentally fell down the chute or maybe had a mental health episode or a physical episode and then fell down the chute accidentally. But we probably may never know, Mike, how this whole thing happened.
That was Eli Brigette reporting. All right, to weather we go, and we had a little bit of, I don't know if you call it severe weather, but definitely some rain coming in tonight. Still a little bit in the area.
Yeah, we had a couple of stronger storms move through from Clinton into Greene County. Cooled us off from what was a very hot day, but also made some pretty cool sights on radar. We had several outflow boundaries, and I don't know if you can see them here. These thin green lines moving outwards ahead of these storms. It's basically cool air rushing out ahead of these storms, and what that is forming is potentially some more thunderstorms. You see them often making their way through. I'm going to show you a video of that coming up here in just a bit. But as far as what's going on right now, a couple of lingering showers around the area, and that's just about it. For tomorrow, though, another chance for strong to severe storms. Low wind risk, level 1 threat for severe storms for our Wednesday. So I'm going to be tracking that potential very closely. Right now we're in the 70s, but tonight still a lingering shower, maybe a storm, most of the rain later into the day tomorrow. So I'll time it out for you in just a bit.
Governor Mike DeWine signing an executive order banning the sale and use of 9 synthetic opioid drugs. Now, years ago, those drugs were used to relieve pain, but now they can be deadly. Kasha Hancock spoke to Kettering health officials today. So what do they say? Why do they say this order is a step in the right direction?
Dr. Nancy Pook tells me this newly signed executive order helps to protect the community, especially those dealing with substance and drug abuse issues.
Nitazines are new synthetic opioids. They were initially developed in the 1950s as a way to manage pain.
Dr. Nancy Pook of Kettering Health tells me these 9 synthetic opioids are actually not prescribed by doctors, but still found their way into the drug system.
The way they got into our system is on the illicit drug trade.
This raises major concerns for those who use street drugs or have serious substance and drug abuse issues.
They can be found in just about anything. So if someone thinks that they're getting a stimulant, even cocaine, it may be mixed in that.
Each of the 9 synthetic opioids have been found in Ohio crime labs, and according to a press release from Governor DeWine's office, the Ohio Department of Health has recorded 77 nitazene-involved deaths in 2023.
More commonly, it would be mixed with the street fentanyls.
Dr. Pook saying that this order being signed is a step in the right direction for the state of Ohio.
I think it's a reminder that there are dangerous, very dangerous elements in the street drug supply.
She adds there are resources available for those suffering with substance and drug abuse issues.
There is an app that Montgomery County has that's called Get Help Now. And if that is not accessible to you, reach out to a nearby healthcare worker and we can get you the help that you need.
Now, Governor DeWine's office also says if you believe that you or anyone that you know is in immediate danger of drug overdose, to call 911 immediately. Back to you.
A 350,000-pound electric transformer making its way slowly across the Miami Valley tonight. Where it's headed next.
Plus, I'm tracking a risk for strong to severe storms across the Miami Valley. I'm timing it all out for you coming up. Here's a live look from our Eco Plumber Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
rooms to try before you buy. Don't wait. Call or visit today.
Dayton water rescue crews making sure they're always ready when it comes to water safety. So after false reports of a water emergency at Eastwood Metro Park, crews took the opportunity to undergo water safety training tonight. The district chief says this was an opportunity to ensure they are ready to take on anything that happens as the summer season approaches.
We train with our boats on a regular basis, but anytime we get the opportunity to get them out and get the guys on the water, and it's not something we do every day, obviously. So any chance we have to get out on the water, we try and take advantage of it, weather permitting. So it was nice today. We let the guys go out, drive around the boats, just do some spotting on the shore, and just get used to some boat handling.
Chief McLean is reminding those who plan on participating in water activities to make sure you have a registered boat, as well as life preservers and jackets for each person on board in case of an emergency.
The 356,000-pound electric transformer, which you see here behind me, is still on the move tonight. Now, this is drone video that we were able to get as that superload made its way through Xenia this morning. The Greene County Sheriff's Office made this post here behind me on Facebook, giving us updates throughout the entire day on where exactly it was located. The transformer is expected to make its arrival to the new Honda battery plant in Fayette County sometime tonight.
And here's a live look of downtown Dayton from our Eco Plumbers Sky Camp tonight. Still a little bit of rain out there. Let's check in with Natalie for an update.
Yeah, a few showers around, and that was a look right now. Here's a look from that same camera earlier today of those storms that made their way through. I've been talking about those outflow boundaries. Here's an actual video of it making its way through, a time lapse of those clouds quickly rushing through the area and then bringing some rain into the region, some gusty winds as well. Overall, it was a hot day. That ended up cooling us off. But heading into the day tomorrow, we're also going to be tracking the chance for some storms, maybe some more clouds like that, as we do have a cold front that'll be making its way through. So a couple of lingering showers right now. Back off to our west is our cold front that is going to be making its way in. So for tomorrow, we do have a level 1 threat for severe storms, fairly low wind risk. So we're not anticipating widespread severe weather, but heading into tomorrow afternoon and evening, once we get our line of storms to make its way in, can't rule out damaging wind gusts as the main concern, an isolated damaging wind gusts. 60-mile-per-hour winds possible with storms that develop across the area for tomorrow. A non-zero tornado risk, so something we'll have to monitor as well as that line makes its way through. So just have a way to get those weather alerts during our day tomorrow. We're going to start out in the upper 60s, pretty quiet through around lunchtime or so. And then by the afternoon, evening, this is about 5 p.m., line of storms making its way in, continuing to push eastward, bringing that risk for stronger to severe storms. It'll be in and out pretty quickly, but main time frame between about 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And then we start to see things quieter for our Thursday and then even cooler as we head into our Friday. So we'll talk about that cooler weather and a look at our 7-day coming up.
Hunter Biden will appear in court for the third day of his gun trial in just a matter of hours. Opening statements and testimony were heard earlier yesterday. Now, the president's son is accused of lying about his drug use on a form to buy and possess a gun for less than 2 weeks back in 2018. Now, he's pleaded not guilty on all 3 felony counts.
President Biden signing an executive order today to crack down on the southern border. Now, this shuts down asylum requests at the U.S.-Mexico border once the average number of illegal crossings reaches 2,500 per day, which daily totals are already higher than. Republicans and Democrats accuse each other of using the border situation for political gain. Today, the president called out Republican lawmakers for tanking legislation to address the issue, while some Republicans question the timing of the action.
So today, I'm moving past Republican obstruction and using the executive authorities available to me as president to do what I can on my own to address the border.
It is a shell game. They are not serious about it. This is a conversion based on the proximity of the next election and sinking poll numbers, and we think it deserves to be called out for what it is.
Now, there's some exceptions to the new limits on asylum requests, including unaccompanied children. The Biden administration says the measure will stay in place until daily illegal crossings drop to 1,500 or lower per day for at least 2 weeks. The order is expected to face legal challenges.
The abortion debate continues on Capitol Hill tonight.
Right now in America, more than 1/3 of women of reproductive age live in states where they essentially do not have the choice to end a pregnancy if they need to. Instead, Republicans have made the choice for them.
Senate Democrats called the hearing to discuss the consequences of an abortion ban across the country. They heard from women who've had abortions or tried to get them and failed, and as well as providers who risked jail time to give them. Democrats believe it can be a winning issue for the party this November, while Republicans argue politics are the main reason behind the hearing.
So a decision has been made to raise abortion to a high profile, to change the setting, to invite a lot of folks to put us on TV. It's partisan politics being played out in a committee hearing.
Now, the Republican Party is struggling to come to an agreement on the issue, with some far-right members pushing for national abortion bans and more moderate members pushing for less stringent restrictions or leaving it to the states to decide.
A local food pantry helping feed struggling college students. Details on the locations of these pantries for students still in need up next.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Lawyers at Elk & Elk. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO.
If you're a Sinclair Community College student and you need food, don't worry, you can get help. Dayton Realtors held a food drive earlier today called Feeding Students. Now, they collected non-perishable food and toiletries for the Sinclair Community College food pantry to help local struggling college students. Organizers say they're thrilled to give back to the community and raise awareness of local resources.
If someone wasn't able to make it today, they are absolutely welcome to bring any items benefiting Sinclair Community College Food Pantry just right to the Dayton Board of Realtors. We're super conveniently located. They can bring it here.
Dayton Realtor is located at 1515 South Main Street here in Dayton. Students in need can visit the pantries on campus, and if you can't visit in person, you can make a request for assistance on SCC's website. And at the K through 12 level, Dayton Public Schools announcing their summer food service program is now underway. According to their post on X, students 18 and under are now eligible for free meals throughout the summer. Just head to their post to find the locations for food pickups and more information.
Also, when kids are fed, they're fueled to thrive, but for many kids that rely on schools for their meals, the summer can be very challenging. So we're partnering with Feeding America again for Sinclair Care's Summer Hunger Relief. Just scan that QR code you see in the middle of your screen, and you can help provide meals for children and families right here in the Miami Valley.
The Memorial Golf Tournament just around the corner. We're going to hear from the Golden Bear himself about what we can expect next.
You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.